Instagram is testing a new feature, and the great news about this is that libraries are already creating exactly the kind of content that will be able to take advantage of this potential new feature. What is it? We're going to get into it and why I think it's a great thing for libraries in this episode of the Library Marketing Show. Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Hursh from superlibrarymarketing.com. Head over there and look for the Library Marketing Show tab. I am getting lots of questions for future topics. I want to hear what you need help with. Let me know, and we will talk about it in a future episode. I also am looking for kudos nominations. Please let me know if your library or another library has done something that you think deserves recognition in terms of library marketing. And speaking of kudos, we're going to get into kudos today before we get to our topic. So today we are giving kudos to the Lynchburg Public Library. They recently unveiled a new bookmobile. They got some press coverage for it. In fact, their local NBC station did a whole story on it with a reporter live in the parking lot by the bookmobile. I'm going to put a link to that story down below, but I just want you to kind of see which kind of shots the folks at the news station were looking for, so you can kind of think of the next time you get some press coverage, what kind of shots will help support the story, and how can you help the media to make this story great and reflect wonderfully on your library. Great job with this, Lynchburg Public Library. All right, let's talk about that new Instagram feature. According to a report from Social Media Today, which you know is my favorite website to get information about changes in social media, they're saying that Instagram is experimenting with a feature that lets users add up to 5 interests directly to their profile. So a person ostensibly could say, I'm Angela Hursh. I love cookbooks, fantasy novels, movies that are period dramas. You could add 5 things to your profile. That is going to be a signal to them to serve that person content that is related to their interest. It's kind of like opting into a newsletter. Folks are telling us what they are interested in. And that means that libraries can target different Instagram users based on their interests. Now, how would you go about doing that? Instagram is not in our control. The algorithm is not in our control. Here's what I mean by that. The only difference for libraries is going to be just a slight difference in how you think about the content that you put on Instagram. So we know that people are going to be very specific with these interests. And that means the captions and the titles of your Instagram post and reels and stories, all the descriptions you put in are going to need to include keywords that people might put as interests in their profile. So if somebody, for example, says they're interested in anything related to their city, mine is Cincinnati, so I can make that an interest of mine, then hopefully my library would put the word Cincinnati in some of the reels and posts that they do, and it would get fed to that person. Same thing with the fact that I love period dramas. Maybe the library will promote the fact that they have specific period drama movies on Canopy, and then Instagram will show those posts, reels, and stories to me based on my interest. The other great thing about this is putting interest in a profile will likely mean that Instagram will start showing matched content from you, the library, to people who do not follow you on Instagram, who may not even think of themselves as library users, but they're in your geographic area, and they will start seeing things related to your library. So that also could be good news for libraries. So to prepare for this potential change, and also for testers, we don't know where the testers are. There could be some in your community. I want you, the next time you post to Instagram, to think about connecting with identities and interests. So ask yourself if you can clearly identify the audience interest of your post. And if not, try shifting the way you think about it to be more intentional to target people with interests that align with your post content. So I'm really curious what you all think about this potential new feature. Are you as excited about it as I am? Let's get a conversation started down in the comments. That's it for this episode of the Library Marketing Show, but my channel is full of other tips for library marketing. If you're interested in learning more, head on over to the next video. I'll see you there.